Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. Some of you may have seen on my Instagram page or on my Facebook page that I had a bit of an accident a couple of weeks ago and my camera and tripod and lens all took a fall. So this happened to the lens, which has put me out of action now for a couple of weeks. Fortunately, the insurance company has covered it, so it's currently in repair. Now I'm expecting it to take at least another 5 to 10 days, which means I'm just going to be sort of struggling a little bit. Just got my 70 to 200. I've actually borrowed somebody's 100 to 400 EF lens, so I'm going to be using that in a couple of days. I've got a workshop this Friday for the deer rut, so looking forward to that. Anyway, that aside, I have a few products to review as well, so I'm going to be starting off today with the lens. I've got the tripod, Freewell travel tripod. This is a new release from Freewell, so they're putting that out. So I've got to take that out and give it a review. Not even opened that yet. I've also got a night vision camera to review, so I need to go out one evening and give that a try and spend a few hours in darkness seeing what that picks up. But for today I am going to review this, which is the TTartisan 500mm f6.3 lens. Now it's manual focus. It's got an RF mount. They do mounts for, I know they do it for Fuji. Not sure if they do it for Nikon and Sony. I haven't looked up. You can find them on Wex Photographic website. I think they're currently, I know the RF for the Canon is, I think it's £400 on pre-order at the moment. So it's not an expensive lens. So I'm going to be reviewing this lens and going out into the field and giving it a try as well tomorrow morning. The weather's bound to clear. It's absolutely pouring it down today. So I'm going to do the unboxing. And I'm going to sort of work it on a bit of a budget type lens and video, because I've also got the Shimbal field monitor. So I think that's about £200. You got a lens worth £400. The cheapest camera I've got, unfortunately, is the R7, but I'm just going to do it on my R5. But you could do it on the R8 or any of the R lenses. Any of the R cameras will be fine. So let's unbox it, see what's in. I'm not sure if I've got a knife somewhere. This should be fine. Yeah, I've got it. So let's see what's inside. Instructions, I don't think I've ever read one yet, which may explain a lot. Nice bit of black foam padding, and ooh, that was quite nice. And the lens inside the box. So I believe this is made out of metal. Yep, sounds metal to me. Ooh, a bit of weight to that as well. Nice lens cap, metal. Yep, it's all metal. A hot shoe mount, that's good. A little mount there, tripod mount. And what's this? Is this the lens hood? We've got a lens hood that appears. Yes, it does. To screw onto the front of the camera, on the front of the lens. Okay, that's that. And lens cap. So there's the lens in all its glory. TTartisan 6.3 500mm. And I'm just going to read you a few specs of this lens. So it's got a constant aperture of 6.3, featuring a premium construction of 8 elements in 5 groups, includes 2 extra low dispersion glass and high index elements. The large ED glass reduces chromatic aberration for crystal clear shots. Well, we'll be putting that to the test, because what I'm going to be doing is, because it's manual focus, I'll be sticking it on my tripod. I'm going to be using the field monitor to focus in as much as possible. I then may also use a trigger release to actually tape the shot, so I'm reducing as much or as little vibration as possible within the camera. So when I got this on, I'll just tape the shot rather than pushing the shutter and causing some camera shake, because obviously there is no stabilization in this lens at all. It's completely manual focus, and one thing you need to do is in your camera is change the settings in your camera to be able to release the shutter with no lens attached. So that's an option in your camera, because as soon as you touch a manual focus, as soon as you attach a manual focus lens, nothing will happen, because the camera needs to talk to the lens, and if it doesn't do that, it won't take a picture unless you change that setting within your camera. So let's have a look what else we got. Chroma controls help capture deep sky objects in the night sky. I won't be doing any of that. Tripod, ring mount, yeah, that's all good, that's on there. MC multi-layer coating reduces flare and ghosting for clear images. It's got an 82mm thread for attaching optical accessories. Metal body for durability, a metal lens hood for added protection. Okay, very good. So one of the things I thought about with this lens is, because it's a 500mm and it's an RF mount, I can actually put on, because I can put my hand right in here, I can put on the 1x4 converter, the 1x converter, on my R7, and I'm not sure what that's going to give me. I need to work that out. Probably about 1000mm, near enough 1000mm, 1x4 plus the crop sensor, yeah, somewhere around there. At what f-stop, I don't know. I need to work that out as well. If I work it out, I'll put it down below here. Anyway, let's get it on the camera. Work out the way to do. Oh, while I'm here as well, for all those Canon users, you may have heard that there's been a mass firmware update on nearly all the RF camera bodies, apart from the Canon R. I was a bit dubious because it's not available on the UK Canon website, but it is on the Europe and the China and the American Canon websites. The firmware is available to download for the R6, 5, 7, 8, whatever you've got. I took the risk, I took the chance, and I have upgraded all the firmware and all my cameras, and I can quite happily say they all work absolutely fine. I've had no issues with them. I haven't tried them out in full, but everything seems to work. The video, the taking the pictures, touching the lenses, there's no issues with it. So there we go. TTartisan 500mm 6.3 manual focus lens. I'm not sure if you can see the glass on there. Looks quite nice. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to going out and giving this a try. So I'm going to attach this. That'll sit on top of the camera. We'll get it on the tripod and we'll get it out into the field, and let's just see how good this actually is for £400. Obviously I won't be doing birds in flight, animals running, with it being manual focus. What I'm going to be mainly doing is perhaps photographing birds on the water, you know, like the grey herons or storks, whatever wildlife there is. I'm only going to go down the road to my local nature reserve, spend the day down there. It's going to be a beautiful day, so looking forward to giving this a whirl. So yeah, I will see you out in the field. Good morning everyone, and welcome back. What a day. Well, it was supposed to be sunny, and yes, it's a typical English day. Cloudy, wet, and a little cool. And you know what? Here at Brockholes we have a kestrel that they've named Kevin the Kestrel. And he's quite tame and he sits around. And you know what? He's sat on a post just over here behind me. I'm not sure that you're going to see it, but let's go have a look. So he's just sat on this post here. I'll try and move a little closer, see if we can see him. The light's terrible. There he is, looking a little wet on the post, just looking down at me. So I'm probably about 3 meters away from him at the moment. He's looking right at me, looking a little wet. Yeah, so that's Kevin at Brockholes. So if you want to come and get a nice picture of a kestrel, this is a perfect place to do it, because he'll just sit and pose for you. I mean, to be fair, I've literally walked down the path and he's been sat on a post literally an arm's length away, and he just sits there and you can get some pictures of him. But no, already got the beast all set up. The light's terrible. Got my field recorder, got my microphone, got the lens on. It's quite a heavy thing, but looking forward to using it. And I think it's going to be a Wellington day today, or rubber boots, depends which part of the country you come from. So yeah, so the light's not great. It's a bit of a shame. But then again, 500mm 6.3 might be alright. Should actually tuck my trousers into my socks. Wearing wellies, which they always seem to ride up. Yep. Here comes the local man who feeds Kevin in the morning. He only comes sort of probably 2 or 3 times a week. Doesn't come and feed him every day. But yep, that's what Kevin's sat on the post for, waiting to be fed, like a cat waiting for its breakfast. What I'm going to do is try and take a picture actually with this lens, f6.3. Show my aperture set to 6.3. Yeah, the light's shocking this morning. 12,800 ISO at 125 of a second, manual focus, no stabilization. I don't think that's going to work. Anyway, I'll pack my bag and get down to a hide before it starts raining. So just before I go into the hide, I think I'm going to go down just to the fence, to a little spot where the barn owls are, and hopefully maybe catch some roe deer. So I'm going to have to be really quiet, and the weather's been horrendous. It really has. It didn't stop raining all day yesterday. Not 1 minute of the day did it stop raining. And it's still a bit damp today. I know we've got plenty of floods across the UK at the moment. But it's nothing new, happens every year. Right, let's go see what we can find. Okay, well, spent about half an hour down at the fence. Managed to see some roe deer, so that was really nice. Not seen any roe deer for a while, or not been out for a while. That's about it, pretty quiet. So what I'm going to do is head down to the water and see if we got any waterfowl down there, any waders. We do have the bird feeder area. It's a little quiet this morning. But now I'm going to make my way down because the light's going to be behind me. And sometimes I have been lucky in the past is to catch a fox making its way across the fields. Okay, so I've got a grey heron here this morning, just on the edge of the water, just up by the reeds. So it's absolutely perfect for the type of subject I'm going to be photographing today. And it just flew off. But I did manage to get a little bit of video and a little bit of, and a couple of pictures of it. But that's the type of thing that I'm going to have to be photographing today, is birds that are moving very slowly, any wildlife just sort of perched on branches, anything like that, just because you're manually focusing and you don't really have the time. I mean, one thing I found already is I'm half pressing the shutter button or the back button focus to lock onto the subject. It's not working. Obviously manual focus, and all you're doing, it's just like, all it is you've got a piece of glass on the front of your camera. That's it. There is no communication at all between the camera and the lens. So I'll be interested to see how the focusing is. I mean, I'm shooting, what was my ISO? Let me have a look. So my ISO was 5000 ISO when I was shooting the grey heron. So I'm obviously going to get a bit of grain. What I'm more interested in is the quality of the image, the focus, because even at 5000 ISO, you can clean that up no problem these days. So sit and wait and see what else comes in. Well, it's been a very quiet morning so far this morning. Had a little egret flying overhead. Had a grey heron that made its way around, and then it's been behind these reeds for ages. I don't know if I missed it and it's flown off, or it's gone to sleep, or what, but it hasn't made an appearance. Then I had a jay that flew past. That was nice. And when I was making my way down the path, there was a female roe deer off to the left, literally just a few meters away. Both saw each other and just sort of like carried on walking. It's just nice having little encounters like that when you're so close to wildlife, and you know, you're not there to disturb it or anything. You acknowledge that it's there and you just keep walking. No point in taking a picture and disturbing it. I'm certainly not going to get any birds in flight today, that's for sure. It really is hard work with a manual lens, manual focusing lens, that's for sure. I'm enjoying using it. I have to say it's challenging, and I do enjoy a challenge. The focus ring on the lens is really quite stiff, which is absolutely perfect, because I think if it was too loose, you'd find it really hard to just find that sweet spot to lock the focus in. So I'm really quite impressed at how stiff that is to turn. It really is very smooth as well. Got ducks flying around, some swans on the water. So what I might do is might head over to the other lake on the other side here and just have a look, see what wildlife we have over there. Well, I'm having to work for my shots today, that's for sure. Left the hide now, and I've come down to this side of the waterway and had a look around for the kingfisher, got my binoculars out, couldn't see anything, so I made my way a bit further over. There was a grey heron and a little egret. Managed to get a couple of pictures and some video of that, and then heard the kingfisher. So I came back over and I just caught it as it flew into a tree. Managed to get some video of it and got the focus with the lens. I'm hoping I got the focus right. No pictures. I was going to go over to the far side and get some low level images, try it down at water level. Unfortunately, we've got all the workmen now that have come in. I had no idea what they're doing, so they've scared all the birds have gone from over there. So I'm hoping that the kingfisher may just come back over this area here, and I can try and get some actual images of the kingfisher rather than just the video. I'm just going to be quiet for half an hour and see what happens. Hopefully the rain will hold off. It's not as it forecast, unfortunately. Very grey, and the risk of rain is imminent. It's one thing I do like about, hang on a sec. Okay, sorry about that. I'm learning to use the manual lens. So I've just come down to the water here and we've got several swans just swimming around. One thing I do like about the manual focus is that when the subject goes behind the grass or the bushes, the trees, whatever, you're always keeping it focused. You're not losing that focus like you do with animal tracking or eye tracking, where it can't differentiate between the subject and the background. Absolutely wonderful. And I've just been videoing just then the swan as it was swimming away. So what I'm doing is, as it's swimming away, I'm keeping it in focus. So I'm changing the focus as the subject is moving across the water and trying to keep the swan pin sharp. But no, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm sure I don't have that many images that are actually in focus, but it's just nice being out and photographing some wildlife, getting some fresh air. Looking forward to photographing the deer on Friday, and then again next Tuesday. I've got 2 workshops coming up, so looking forward to getting out and doing that. I have some cattle over here as well. I'm not sure what they are, longhorn cattle. I'm just hoping to try and get a Cetus warbler or a reed warbler just to pop up. I can hear them, but I just can't see them. Anyway, I'll turn the camera around so you can see what I'm looking at. So that's my view, and over here we have the swans. So I'm going to try and track that as it's coming towards me. I've made my way over to the bird feeder station here, where we've got some reed buntings, dunnocks, blue tits, great tits, robins, goldfinches, chaffinches. It is quite busy, and I'm really trying to put this lens to the test now on manually focusing on the birds as they're coming in. There are a few perches as well, and what I'm trying to do is just wait until a bird lands on a perch and then get the shot. But I think I'm going to just spend half an hour here seeing what images I get and a little bit of video, and then I'm going to take you with me back to the office where we're going to edit these pictures and have a look at them in the raw format and then edit them ready for this video. Okay, so I'm back in the office now. Had a fabulous time this morning. Unfortunately, the rain came in, so I decided to call it and come back and have a look through the images. Now, I took 449 images and some video this morning. So out of those 449, I've got 31 photos that I'm now going to edit, and I will go through a few of them and show you how I edit those, then take them into Photoshop, edit them in Photoshop, and then show you the final image in the video. So my setup is I currently use Lightroom. With Lightroom, I have a loop deck controller, which is one of these, which enables me to change all the exposure, all the settings by just changing the knobs on the loop deck. Now, it's something I use. It's something I use all day, every day. It's in part of my job, so I can basically look at the screen and move my hand and change those settings without even having to look, because I know where everything is. So let's dive in and start editing some photos. So here's the first image I took this morning. Now this is of Kevin the Kestrel that was on the post. It was really dark this morning, so you can see I took it at 100th of a second, 12,800 ISO, and as soon as we zoom in we can already see that that's blurry and very grainy. Even if we go 100%, it's practically unrecognizable. So I'm just going to zoom out of here, and first thing I'm going to do is just select my subject and invert that. Just bring up the background slightly. I then also want to change my white balance a little bit. I'll just have my white balance off, so I'm going to bring that up to about 7,000. And I'm going to just crop in slightly as well, because we don't need all that data in there. So now I just want to select my subject, which is going to be the Kestrel. So I'm going to create a new mask. So I'm going to select an object, which is just the bird. And then I'm going to bring up my shadows. Just a little bit in here. Also my clarity. Now this is never going to be a good picture. All we could do is try and make it a little better than what it currently is. Okay, so we can run a denoise program on that. So let's denoise this image. I have this set to between 30 and 35, so I'm going to stick with 35 for this one and run that denoise and see what it comes out like. Okay, so that's done. Let's zoom into our 50% again, and it's not too bad. So we've got a bit of blur in there, but we can go back and edit that in Photoshop afterwards. So we'll save that as a red file. Now we have Kestrel here on the ground. Again, this one's a little better. No shake in the camera. So I'm just going to increase the white balance again. I'm just going to crop it down, bring him in to about there, just slightly off center. Bring up the shadows, the exposure a little bit. Still don't like that blue. Let's bring that up a little bit. Also want to just level this up a little bit to about there. Now obviously we have lens correction here. There is no lens identification on the lens, so we can manually sort of get rid of this curve. There's a slight curve in here I can see in the lens, so I just want to change that a little bit just to bring that in, and I think that looks just a little better. Not you'd notice it too much. Let me just see where we're at with that. I don't even know if it should be about there. I think that's that looks better to me. Okay, so happy with that image. I can run the denoiser on this. Let's just have a quick look, see what we get. Okay, so let's go into 50% of the image. So it's not too bad. That's before and after. Okay, so we can work on that in Photoshop as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to nip through a few more of the images. Here we've got one of some roe deer in a field. So we'll come back and go over some of the edits that I've done. If I find one in particular, I'll jump into that and show you my quick edit on that as well. So when I was photographing and videoing the swans, I actually thought that the focus was absolutely spot on. Now, I do believe that the focus was the best that it could be, but when I zoom in again, it is a little soft. There is no other area of the image that is in focus. I mean, this is the best focus spot of the entire photo. So we'll bang on focus, but you know, shooting at 640th of a second, ISO 640, sorry, with a shutter speed of 400, this image should have been a little sharper and clearer than what it is. But then again, I'm comparing this £400 lens to a £3,000 lens. There's going to be a difference, there's going to be a trade-off, and clearly this is it. Now, as an image, looking at it like this, it's absolutely fine. Very few people actually zoom into 100% and look at an image on a wall or in a book or on a video to 100%. So as an overall image, it works, it's fine. Now, some of the images that did seem to work were the birds at the bird feeder that were a lot closer. I'm really happy with how these images have turned out with the lens, shooting at 1600 ISO at 250th of a second. The image is good enough. A little blurry there. Maybe it's soft or just a movement of the bird. But we can process these. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run a denoise through most of these images. So I just want to change that slightly. Bring that in just to the right of the picture, I think. And bring down some whites there. Perhaps warm the bird up a little bit. Yeah, so we can see we're it's not bad. I mean, that's 100% zoomed in, 50% zoomed in, and as it was took at the 500mm. So it's an acceptable image. Then we had a bullfinch come in. There's some goldfinch here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to crop this down a little bit more. Should still leave us with 4,000, 5,000 pixel image. Absolutely happy with that. Okay, so I've been through the images. I'm now left with 20 photos from this morning's trip. I'm just going to run that through the Lightroom denoise feature before then exporting them as TIFF files, which I always do, 16-bit TIFF files. They'll then be exported. I will then import those into Photoshop and edit each one individually. So once I've transferred those over, I will then just pick 2 or 3 perhaps, and then show you how I edit a couple of those pictures, and then go on to edit the rest and put them into the video. Okay, so what I've done is just to show you an example here of editing images in sort of Topaz Sharpen. I brought in my worst photo for noise and blurriness. So this was 12,800 ISO with a shutter speed of 100. So not only did we have noise, we had terrible light, and we had a slow shutter speed. Now here we can see all of these done in a standard sharpen. We then have motion blur, we then have out of focus, we then have too soft blurry. So Topaz is now just going to go through these and give it its best job. Motion blur, too noisy, we have loads of artifacts going on here. Out of focus, very blurry, it's still very blurry. Too soft, very blurry, well, that is just absolutely horrendous. So the best out of the bunch is this one here, which is a standard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply and export that. Now I'm doing this as a separate layer, so I won't be damaging the original file. This is completely a separate layer. So we'll let that process. Okay, so I'm finished doing what I can with this Kestrel photo. It is something I would have just deleted and got rid of, but just for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you the edit. So this is the original raw file straight out the camera, and this is the edited image here. So it's not great compared to the original, but it will do. Okay, so here's the second picture of Topaz denoise. Now this wasn't as bad. This image wasn't, or didn't appear to be as noisy or as blurry as the first image. And I've dropped this into Topaz. I've just run a standard sharpen on it, and we can see, so go from that to that in Topaz, which I think is a pretty good job. I mean, I would never use the image professionally, but as a reference image, there you go. So we can, I'm quite happy with that. So we'll export that. Okay, so I'm continuing to edit these images now here in Photoshop. So I've got the one of the robin here now. I think the closer the subject, the better the actual image is. Now, obviously I'm looking at these, I'm comparing these to my images that I do most of the time, and you're talking a £400 lens to a £3,000 lens. These aren't going to be as good a quality. It doesn't matter, they will never be as good a quality as they are with the Canon L series lens. And you know, TTartisan, I think for a 500mm 6.3 lens, manual focus, they've done a good job. I think anybody wanting a 500mm lens, this is a good buy. It's £400. It's RF. It fits on your camera. I think they do it in Fuji, Nikon, Sony. So yeah, it is a cheaper lens. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. So this was just a little bit different to normal, doing some product reviews. So the TTartisan lens, has it got a place in my bag? Well, you know what? It might just have, actually. I'm considering just having this to use with my Canon R7, which will give me, what was it? Turn it into an 800mm lens. Manual focus, I think ideal for, you know, photographing hares perhaps that are, you know, just crouched down in the field, roe deer, normal deer, you know, the animals that don't fly around and don't move so fast. I think something like this could be quite useful. It's not a professional lens. It certainly is a beginner's lens. I would say it was a lens that if you can't afford top glass, then this is something that you may want to consider, especially at the £400 price point. Best image I took, I think my favourite image I took with this lens, apart from the bullfinch, I mean, unfortunately it was in the cage in the bird feeder, so it was a bit messy. I think the best one was the male mallard on the water. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Next I will be, hopefully weather pending, be out with the night vision glasses, giving those a try, seeing how good they are, whether they're going to be of any use at all. I'm also photographing the deer rut this Friday and next Tuesday. I've also been invited down to a new hide to photograph hopefully some buzzards and kestrels and red kites, etc. Looking forward to that. And then I'm off to Mull, so a few things are coming up, and hopefully I'll get my 100 to 500 back. Can't wait. It's like I've lost my arm. But no, until next time, guys, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Give it a like, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.